Packers start out their season 3-1. We're going to be discussing how the first quarter of the season has gone so far. That's our topic for tonight, so stick around. This video is brought to you by Packer Fan Cave. Everything you need to turn your man cave into a Packer Fan Cave. You can check them out at packerfancave.net. There is a link in the description below this video. So Coach Lafleur's first season as a head coach and first season with the Green Bay Packers here has started off pretty well, being 3-1 at this point. I don't think anybody actually expected him to do that well starting off the season. And here to discuss this with me is my good friend and lifelong Packer fan, Mark Padriana. Mark, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me as always.
Yeah. And so what were your expectations coming into this season?
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about this at the end of last year or around the draft time when we really didn't know. I mean, it was hard to formulate some expectations because you knew some of the talent that was there, but there was a lot of new talent coming in and new coaching staff, obviously, and new system altogether. But I mean, I am optimistic. I guess my expectations are the same as they are every year. I think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl, but they're a little tempered going in this year. But I'm pleasantly surprised, and there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. I think you're going to still see a lot of changes, but so far so good.
Yeah. And I know you were as excited as I was when in the offseason they picked up Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith and Adrian Amos. You know, we were looking at what was going to be a really exciting defense, and have they been everything you were expecting so far?
Absolutely. I think everything and even a little bit more. I think, last week was a little bit of a dip down, but I think as we talked about earlier, I think one of the strengths of this defense, not only getting to the quarterback, which they've done pretty well so far, 8 sacks in 4 games, but also the takeaways, and they just didn't get the takeaways last week, and credit to Philadelphia, they moved the ball up and down the field really well and took care of the ball, but yeah, I think overall, I think that they're as good as I hoped, and they're maybe even a little bit better, because I think, Pettin's got these boys pretty fired up.
Yeah.
And they look like they're a pretty unified group.
And hungry.
Yeah.
That's something you haven't been able to say about a Green Bay team since 2011. And that's one of the exciting things about this season. I think both Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith have overblown people's expectations. I know coming into this season, I heard a lot about those being overrated moves on the defensive side. And I wasn't sure, you know what I mean? I hadn't really seen much of them. I didn't really know a whole lot about either one of them, so I wasn't sure, but I'm going to say they definitely have surpassed my expectations for what either one of them was going to do this season. And Adrian Amos has been everything that I hoped he would be on defense. It's really strange with a Aaron Rodgers-led offense to be more excited about the defense this year than we actually are about the offense.
But you're right, they've brought an attitude with them. I mean, not only did they sign guys that, had just, lived out their rookie contracts and were ready for their payday, but they signed guys that were still relatively young and hungry in their career, and they've brought a really good attitude with them, and they've instantly, all 3 of them have become leaders in that locker room.
Exactly. And when you're thinking about how good the defense is, it kind of, pushes you into the idea of like how bad the offense has looked at times, and you see the moments of greatness at times as well. You can tell that this is going to be a really good offense, as much as they have had their struggles so far. I think they've consistently improved throughout the first few weeks, the first quarter of the season so far. But still, when you look at this last game, 1st and goal on the 1-yard line, 4 tries to move the ball, 1 yard for a touchdown, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, and 4 passes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that might be a result of Jamal Williams as our run it up the gut guy. You don't really rely on Aaron Jones to run it up the gut. He's more of your get him out in space guy. And Jamal Williams being taken out of that game, I think hurt us in more ways than people really wanted to think. You know, but really, man, you've got to be able to move the ball a yard. You
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, and we haven't talked about this, but why can't Aaron Rodgers do a quarterback sneak? Like,
Right,
when was the last time you've seen him do that successfully? I feel like every time he's done it in his career, he's been successful at it, but they've just
right.
stopped doing that. I don't know. Some quarterbacks are better than than others, but yeah, I don't know. And you're right, Jamal Williams was out, but you still got Vitali back there. Hand the ball to the Italian stallion, give him one shot out of four
Yeah.
at it.
Give somebody a shot with the ball. I mean, maybe their thinking was we don't want our running back stuffed in the backfield and lose yards. Uh, but still, I don't know. I was really disappointed to see four opportunities from 1 yard out and not a single touchdown out of that whole series. Uh, and then on top of that, our defense came out and gave up a decent run right away that gave them yards to work with.
Hmm.
It was there were some disappointing things in that game. But it is our only loss of the season so far. It's exciting to be 3-1 at this point. I like you always come into the season thinking, "Yep, we got the Super Bowl team. We're ready this year." But it's still when you consider a brand new head coach, he's never been a head coach before, and a whole new offensive system that the guys are trying to get used to. Uh, I do think they're doing good. I think we're going to see improvement every year, or sorry, every week, and I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see some really good things throughout the rest of this season. 1 quarter of the season is down. Uh, I'm excited to see what the next quarter of the season is going to bring. You know, uh, there's some scary looking teams right here in the NFC North with us too, and that's another thing. Uh, who do you think is going to be the biggest challenge in the NFC North?
I still think it's the Bears. I don't think their offense is very good. I don't think their quarterback's very good. I was one of his. I was actually one of his supporters, but he just has not progressed. When I saw the first 4 or 5 games of his career, I thought, man, this guy's once he figures it out, he's gonna be pretty good. And maybe it's only been 20 games or so of his career, but he just doesn't seem to be taking that next step. But that defense is scary. They always play good special teams, and they're always in games. The Vikings, I think, are going to hang around, but I think their struggles at quarterback, their limitations at quarterback, I should say, is eventually going to be their downfall. Their defense is good enough, but it's not as good as the Bears. And Detroit is really surprising. I think they're a lot better on defense than people have given them credit for.
Yeah,
But I think Matthew Stafford is always going to make that key mistake in the end. I really think this division comes out of the Bears and the Packers, and I think the Packers have the team to beat this year.
yeah, yeah, and let's hope it continues that way too. Uh, because on top of all the things that have been going good, we've also been pretty lucky when it comes to injuries. In the first 3 weeks, this last week we got hammered. It was rough watching Bulaga went down, and then Jamal Williams went down, and then Devontae Adams went down. It was that was probably our roughest game so far, but uh, kind of surprising as a Packer fan to be this late into the season and not have half the starters like wondering if they're gonna play or not.
Yeah, and this is, I guess, as good as week as any to, other than the bye week to get, a little bit banged up with having the mini bye in there playing
Yeah.
on Thursday night.
Yep.
But going back quickly to what we talked about at the beginning of the show was expectations, and I guess the only real expectations I had of the team was that at this point, at this quarter pole of the season, that the defense would definitely be ahead of the offense. I didn't realize the defense would carry us to victory,
Right.
the
Right.
first couple of games there, but I think that's the case. The defense still is a little bit ahead of the offense, but I agree with what you said a few minutes ago. As they're getting better every week, and I think we've just broken the surface with the offense this year. So
Yeah.
I'm optimistic.
Yep.
What I saw last week, like you said, there was a few things that that were a little bit troublesome, but nothing overall that really sways my opinion drastically of this defense and this team as a whole. I
Yeah.
think it was just one of those weekends. There's I don't believe in good losses, but I think this might not be the worst thing in the world. Just kind of hit the reset button and say, okay, we're maybe not the best team that ever lived, so we've
Right.
got some things to work on. Let's go back and
Yep.
get ready for Dallas because there's a tough, stretch of the schedule coming up here.
Yeah. No, and especially you bring up Dallas coming up next. I think the biggest problem we have on our defense is stopping the run. And I really felt like we were lucky that the Vikings got away from the run, when they did, because they were moving the ball on the ground against us. The Eagles, I think the reason they beat us is because they stuck to the run game. They stuck to the ground and found the holes in our defense, and that's one minor concern I have coming into this next week is Ezekiel Elliott is one of the best in the league at the running back position, and I think if the Dallas Cowboys stick with the run, we might have another shootout on our hands, and then it's going to be up to our offense. And you know what? If you get on the 1 yard line again, you better get in the end zone.
No doubt. Yeah, some of the statistics at the quarter point, and I think we have to, in addition to our defense having to step up, it's rush defense. We have to step up our running game because we're giving up 5 yards a carry, and we're only
Yeah.
achieving 3.3 yards a carry this year.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, so I think it's one of those things that's going to sway time of possession as well. But I think it's also, if we can run the ball, just gives our offense a chance to run more plays and get more comfortable and start to show what it can really do. I think those two things, running the ball a little bit better, and like you said, stopping the run. I don't think they need to be a shutdown, hold guys to negative rushing yardage like they did
Right.
Barry Sanders in that
Right.
playoff game. But I think if you keep it within check and don't give up those huge plays and every once in a while, make a tackle in the backfield on a running play, then I think keep that in balance because I really like our secondary and I really like
absolutely.
our pass defense, our linebackers especially. So, yeah.
Yeah. And we've touched on offense and defense, and there's still special teams, and I think special teams have helped us out this year, but has also hurt us. I'm really excited about the punter being able to get people down inside the 20, and
he's got a cannon attached to that.
Yeah.
hip, man.
Yeah.
That he's impressive.
It's good to have him there, and Mason Crosby is still Mason Crosby. What concerns me is our kickoff team twice has given up huge returns that neither one of them were for touchdowns, but both of them back-to-back weeks made it past the 50-yard line. And that's something that I'm a little bit concerned about. Not extremely concerned, but I just hope they figure out how to keep that in check.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think all in all, special teams is better than it's been over the past few years. But yeah, the coverage teams still need a little bit of work. But I agree. I got all the faith in the world in Crosby still, and J.K. Scott he's been an absolute weapon as a punter, especially in the fourth quarters. When he's really needed to come up with big kicks, he has. But
yeah,
absolutely agreed. The two times that the opponents have brought it out of the end zone this year, it's gone for huge returns. So gotta fix that. But yeah, all in all, better than last year, and still optimistic it's gonna get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you guys think out there? Are you guys happy being 3-1 at this point? Do you think our defense is as good as we think it is? Do you think the offense is going to keep improving? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Hit the little bell icon so you get notifications every time I upload new content. Share this video with all your friends. And for the Packer Fan Network, I am Mark Schneider.